Town officials took away his house, but he decided to purchase a rock in the ocean for $200. This story starts in 1905 in the city of Georgetown. At that time, Joseph Wharton was an important landowner. Outside of town, he even had a big house on that land. And he was proud of his possessions and dreamt about all of the following generations of the Wharton family living in this house. And when he would get old, he would gather the whole family with all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren at the big wooden table. Unfortunately, his dreams never came true. One day Joseph got a letter from the city management that said in order for the town to expand that they would need new lands and would have to take away Wharton's estate together with his house. Of course, the men started to fight for his possessions and rights, but the town won the lawsuit in the end. And so it came that the house and all of his estates had been taken away by the town. Suddenly he was left without anything that he had acquired in all the years. This event split the life of Wharton's family into two. People say that Joseph didn't support the corrupt views of Georgetown officials and wanted to know that. But the officials didn't stop there and decided to further humiliate the man. They sent him a compensation that only further humiliated the proud American. It was a small estate far outside of town, which was not optimal for building a house there. One could ask how this could happen in the democratic United States, but in the early 20th century, it was very different. Joseph Wharton went to many institutions to change the situation, but it was all useless in the end. The whole family left their beloved house. After such humiliation, Joseph swore that no one could ever again dismiss his family out of their new house. He was so upset that he decided to build their new home far away from civilization. He had decided to build a house that would last many generations to come and that no one could take away. Then he had the idea of buying a small island near Rhode Island in the Narragansett Bay that no one needed. The place was perfect for his idea but problematic as it was a plain rock in the middle of the ocean, and the thin pedestrian overpass was the only path onto the island. The most interesting thing is that this island was completely useless, and no one wanted it. It was sold to him for just $200 while the local officials just smiled at the crazy person. But Joseph Wharton was not afraid of taking on challenges. Instead, they motivated him. In 1906, he began his constructions, and all the building materials were transported onto the island with boats. The whole family worked hard on the construction of their new home, and soon with combined forces, a 3-story house was built. The construction was very impressive, and the house had 23 rooms, of which 10 rooms were bedrooms. The facility had balconies and patios where the whole family would enjoy the beautiful sunsets. Joseph Wharton did not just build a house on a rock, but this was something that he would never again give away in his life. Therefore, he called his home Clingstone House. This term is well known in botanics and describes a pit that is really hard to separate from the fruit itself. This way, he underlined his position once more. Wharton's dream came true, and his family lived a long and happy life on the windy island in the Atlantic Ocean. In 1938 the pedestrian overpass was destroyed by hurricane winds, and was even more isolated since now the only way to get to the island was by boat or by swimming through a short but very cold strait. Over the years, multiple generations lived in this house, and for every celebration, they all gathered on the big wooden deck. Modern life went on, whole neighborhoods were built and demolished, but the house stood still. Over more than 100 years, the owners of the house changed, but whoever lived there was in love with this house. Henry Wood's family was the last one to purchase the house, and they've lived there since 1961. Henry made massive renovations without changing the original look of the building. Everything was restored, and the builders did everything possible to keep the special atmosphere of the mansion. The building was updated with solar panels and a wind turbine so domestic devices, as well as the devices for collecting and clearing the water, could work independently. They also added a system that decomposes natural waste, filters it, and then released it into the depths of the ocean as fertilizer. This makes the house completely independent from the rest of the world, just like the owner wanted it to be. Henry Wood purchased the property for $3,600, which is extremely cheap. The reconstruction, however, cost him a fortune, but Henry does not regret anything and he is happy to own a house with such a special story. Henry Wood and his 3 sons, who are still the owners of the house, are very proud of it. When they are in the house sitting at the dining table or simply relaxing on the couch, they always feel like they are in a wardroom. This is because of the big windows and the view from these windows. This is how the house built by Joseph Warton as a protest became the pride of the whole city.